Hello everyone. Today we shall discuss the story of the novel Tess of the D. Village. As we know that it is the story of that novel is very lengthy and there are 59 chapters in that novel. So each day we shall discuss the story of some chapters of that novels. Today we begin the story, and in the beginning of that novel we find that the story begins in the month of May. The time is evening. In the evening of the month of May, a middle-aged man whose name is Jack Durbeyfield is returning from Seston to his own village, Marlet. Marlet is a village which is situated in the Blackmoor Valley, and it is about 4 hours journey from London. When Jack Durbeyfield is returning to his own village Marlet, he is a haggler. He is coming on foot, carrying a basket. On the way, he met the parson Tringham, and while he met the parson Tringham addresses him by saying, "Good night, Sir John." This is not the first time that he addressed him by saying Sir John. Earlier also he had addressed him by the word Sir John. That word, particularly Sir, surprised Jack Durbeyfield because he was a very common man, poor man, and why the parson was addressing him by Sir John. At last he asked him the reason behind it, and actually Parson Tringham was an antiquarian, and he replied that he had discovered from existing record that Jack was the direct descendant of the ancient aristocratic family of D. Village. He said that he belonged to a very rich, royal, aristocratic and knightly family of the ancient time, and the name of that family was D. Village. And in the past, the male members of that family were knighted. That's why he addressed him by Sir John. That new discovery affected Jack very much, and that discovery was too much for him. After that, his entire outlook on life changed in a moment. And he thought now that he was not a common man now, because he now belonged to a very royal, respectable, aristocratic family. His ancestors were very rich and living in a very mansions and big houses. After knowing that fact, that he thought about himself that he did not belong to a normal family. Now his whole outlook was changed, and he sat down on the ground by the side of the road. Actually, after that discovery, he did not want to go on foot now, carrying a basket. And he called a boy from his own village who happened to be passing through that way, and he gave a shilling into the hands of that boy, and told him to carry that basket to his house, and instructed him that to bring a carriage from the village, particularly a pure inn, to send a carriage for him to go his house on that carriage. On that particular day, a festival was observed in that area, and it was club walking. Actually, in that area, all the old customs and traditions were observed very strictly, and club walking was also one of the old customs and traditions of. It was also a part of old customs of traditions of May Day dance. In that festival, all the women, particularly young girls, gathered in an open field, and they participated in that festival. At that time, all the girls, they were coming to that place. While they were coming, Jack Dubyfield was also going on a carriage to his own house, and he was behaving in a very ridiculous and a very improper manner. Tess was also one of those girls who were coming to participate in that club walking. So one of the girl also indicated to Tess, look, your father is going on that carriage and he was behaving in a very ridiculous manner. The behavior of Jack embraced Tess and humiliated very much. Then all the girls came to a meadow open area, and they were celebrating, participating in club walking. At the same time, 3 brothers were also passing through that way. 3 brothers. Youngest one is Angel Clare. In other words, you can say that he is the hero of that novel. And 2 other brothers, they were Cuthbert and Felix. The youngest one, Angel Clare, was very much attracted towards the dancing of those girls, and he requested his brothers to stay some time and participated in the dance of all those girls, and but the 2 brothers refused to stay, and they say that they are getting late. But the youngest one, Angel Clare, says, no, I would go and dance with them, and if you want to go, you may go, and I will come later on. And he went to the place where the girls were dancing, and he reached there. Actually, in that dance, all the girls were dancing wearing the white dress. and there was not a single male partner at that time. And Angel Claire asked one of the girls that why are you dancing alone? Where is your male partners? Then the girl replied that actually all the men were working in the field. In the evening, after finishing their work, they would come and then they would join us. The girl then requested Angel Claire, why are you not joining us? The boy replied that you are so many, I am alone. The girl replied, one is better than none. After that, the boy, Angel Claire, joined them, danced with them. At the same time, after some time, church clock struck. That church clock reminds Angel Claire that he is getting late, and soon he decided to leave the place and join his brother. While he was leaving that place, his eyes fell on Tess. You know that Tess was also dancing and participating in that dance, and as he was leaving, his eyes fell on Tess. He was very much affected by the beauty of Tess, and he thought why he had not observed her earlier, why he had not danced with her. Actually, this is the first meeting between Tess and Angel Claire. Though they have not talked, only eyes, only you can say they met through the eyes, and soon he left the place and ran after his brothers to catch them. And after the departure of Angel Claire, Tess was also very sad, and he was not enjoying the dance after all. When the dance was over, he came to her house, and the mother also informed Tess about the new discovery about their family, which her father had just come to know about the new discovery about her family, about the D'Aurevilles. Tess asked her mother about her father. The mother replied that the father has gone to the Oliver's Inn to get some strength. Actually, his father has gone to take some wine. And when after saying that, the mother also went to bring the father, the Oliver's Inn. When the fathers and the mother both did not come back from the Oliver's Inn, Tess sent Abraham, his younger brother, to bring back the parents. After going the Oliver's Inn, the mother, John Durbeyfield, also enjoyed that kind of outing to the Rolivers Inn, and after going and sitting beside her husband, she actually had a plan in her mind, and she knew an old man living in Trentridge with the family name D. Arbor Village. She was very rich and living in a mansion. She had a plan to send Tess to that family, that old lady, to claim kinship with that family, because this family was also a D. Arbor family. The plan was that with the help of that family, Tess would be able to marry one rich gentleman While she was talking with her husband, at the same time Abraham came, and he was also listening all that conversation between his father and mother. And the mother was talking about the marriage of Tess with some gentleman with the help of that family. When Tess found that the parents and Abraham, they did not come back from the Rolivers Inn, then she herself decided to go and bring all those 3 persons to the house. And she locked the house from the outside, and she went to bring back the parents and Abraham. As the parents saw Tess, they soon started for their house. The father, Jack Durbeyfield, was drunk and he was not able to walk properly. It was 11 o'clock when they reached the house. In the early next morning, Jack Durbeyfield was to start his journey to deliver the beehives to the Casterbridge town, Casterbridge market. After midnight, the mother came to Tess and informed her that the father was not in a condition to go Casterbridge. So, in place of Jack, Tess will have to go. Tess was ready to go to Casterbridge to deliver the beehives, and she needed the company of Abraham. And Abraham was also ready to go with her. And both the brother and sister Tess and Abraham, they were ready to go to Casterbridge to deliver the beehives. They started the journey in the night, and they were going in a carriage. On the journey, Abraham told about her mother's plan, that they were talking in the Rolivers Inn that they would be able to get married. They were talking about the marriage of Tess with a gentleman, and he told each and everything what he has heard from the conversation of his parents to Tess. After some time, Abraham slept. Tess was also in a reverie, and at that time, her wagon collided against a small coach coming from the opposite direction. Unfortunately, that accident happened. And in that accident, the horse of the carriage of Tess, Prince, was killed. And anyhow, with the help of a man from the nearby village, she managed to deliver the beehives to the Castabridge, and she came back to her house. After the death of Prince, that Prince was the only breadwinner of the family of Tess, who was snatched away. Tess held herself responsible for the death of Prince. After the death of horse, the mother, she was very practical lady, and she exploited that situation to the maximum, and she told Tess to go to Trentridge, to the house of that old lady who was also de Arbevilliers, and she wanted to send Tess to that family and claim kinship and seek some help from that family. At first, Tess was not ready to go there, and finally she was ready to go and seek some help from that family. So the next morning, she took a carriage from Seston to the near place of Trentridge, and from there she went to Trentridge. After reaching there, Tess found that the building, it was a big building, but the building was not ancient. Actually, the Simon Stock, Simon Stock actually had amassed huge fortune in business in the northern part of England. When he was retired, then he decided to settle in the southern part of England. He came to that place and he consulted some local records, and to conceal his identity, he assumed the family name of the ancient family de Arbevilliers. Actually, he was Simon Stock. To conceal his identity, he consulted some local records and finally decided to assume the family name of the ancient family de Arbevilliers. So actually he was not de Arbevilliers. And when Tess reached the house, a young man opened the door. It was Alexander de Arbevilliers. In that novel, he is known as short name Alec. And he opened the door and he asked Tess the purpose of her visit. And he told that Tess that she could not meet her invalid mother, who was also blind. Tess informed Alec all the past incidents which forced her to come here and to claim the kinship with that family and seek some help. She told each and every incident which took place earlier and which forced her to come to this place and claim the kinship with that family. Though Tess did not like that man at first, his attitude, his talkings, she did not like at all. And she told the man she had already planned to go back in the same evening. So the man took Tess into the house and showed all the things, the garden, the furniture and the houses and everything he showed Tess and tried to impress Tess, and that man was very much impressed by the beauty of Tess. He also offered a little light lunch to Tess. At the time of departure, he filled her basket with the fruits and flowers, and he promised to see if he could help her family in any way, but he made it clear that the kinship issue must be kept apart. And in this way, Tess left Trentridge and took a carriage and came to Seston and spent a night there, and in the next morning she came to her own house. So this is the end of the 5th chapter. Okay, thank you.